Join me as we learn Chitas together for Shabbos, the seventh Torah reading of Parshas Vayishlach, chapter 36, verse 20. The Torah, up until now, was telling us about Yitzchak's passing, and even though, as we mentioned, the Torah is not in chronological order, however, the Torah yesterday told us about all the families of Esav, and over here the Torah continues to tell us about the families of Esav. Eila b'nei Seir, these are the children of Seir the Chorite. Yoshvei Haaretz, they were the original inhabitants of the land of Seir. Leitan, Shevel, Tzivain, and Anna. Verse 20, Yoshvei Haaretz, what is the Torah telling us? They were the original inhabitants, and says as follows. Shahoyu Yeshveh, they were the ones that were settled, Kaidem Sheba Esav L'Sham, before Esav came there. The rabbis explained, they knew exactly where to know and how, what place of the land was important. The measurements on each place of the earth where it was good. They were so perfect that they knew the land really well. That they knew which parcel of land was good to plant olives, which parcel of land was good to plant grapes. They were able to taste the earth and tell you what and where it all came from and what it should be used for, what kind of planting. I think they say the Bedouins today have that ability as well in the desert, that they can see which land comes from where. The Torah now continues in verse 21. V'dishen ve'etzer v'dishen el alufi achere b'nei Seir b'eretz tzadeh. Dishan, Eitzer, and Dishan, these were the tribal chiefs of the Chorites amongst the sons of Seir in Edom. Vayibnei Leitan, and the children of Leitan, Chayri Haimam, Aches Leitan, Timna was Chayri Haimam, and the sister of Leitan was Timna. Verse 23. Ve'ela b'nei Shevel, and these are the children of Shevel, Alvan Monachas Ve'evel Shvev Einam. And verse 24. Ve'ela b'nei Tzivain, and these are the children of Tzivain, Aya, Anna. Who Anna? This is the same Anna. Asher Motza Es Hayemim, who discovered the mules, B'midbar in the desert, Bir Oisei Es HaChamorim, while he was tending to the donkeys, L'tzivain Aviv, that his father Tzivain had. So what does this mean? So Rashi explains as follows. Verse 24, Rashi. Aya and Anna, Aya va'Anna, Vav Yisera, there's an extra Vav here. Aya va'Anna. You have this in a lot of times. Like he's giving another example where there's another Vav which tells me this Vav is extra, but it's not coming to add anything. Like Teis v'Kodesh v'Tzav v'Mirmus or Nidam v'Recha v'Sus in other places as well. Who Anna? What does it mean? This is Anna. Which Anna are we talking about here? Omer Lamaila that we spoke earlier in verse 20 about the brother Shu Achiv Shal Tzivain. It was the brother of Tzivain. The Khan, say Benoi, but over here he calls him his son, even though he was his brother. Malamed, this is teaching us about Tzivain al Imoi, that Tzivain actually married his mother. And because he was intimate with his mother, Vahayla the son, and gave birth to Anna. So again, you have, he was his father and his brother, the illegitimacy that it was pervasive amongst Esav's children. Es Hayemim, Pradim. What are Yemim? They were mules. How did he find them? He realized that when you put a donkey and a horse together, that means a male donkey and a female horse, V'yolda Pered, and it gave birth to a mule. Who hayamamzer? So he himself was a legitimate child. Not only that, he also brought illegitimacy into the world of creating these mules. Why over here did they call them yemim? If they were mules, why not pered? Usual terminology. Because they were scary. They scared people. Reb Chanina said, nobody ever asked me how to heal themselves from the bite of a mule. Meaning, nobody ever survived. But haven't we seen that people were bit by a mule and they didn't die? So he says, "Al tikra v'chaya levachoisa, ki hamakali tisrapi loilam." Don't call it v'chaya, that they lived, but they lived on with this pain, meaning because that even though yes they may have lived, but the wound was never healed. He really didn't have to tell us they were from the family of Chayri Elam Ipnei Timna, only because Timna was the concubine of Eliphaz, to tell us the greatness of Avram, that all these families were trying to marry into the family of Avram. Verse 25. These are the children of Anna, Dishan, Livama Basana. Verse 26. These are the children of Dishan, Chedman, Eshban, Yisran, and Vran. Verse 27. Eila b'nei Eitzar, these are the children of Eitzar, Bilan, Zavan, Va'akon. Verse 28. Eila b'nei Dishan, these are the children of Dishan, Utz, Va'aron. Verse 29. Eila alufi acheri, these were the chiefs of the families of the Chayrites. Aluf Loitan, the chief of Loitan, Aluf Sheval, chief Shoval, Aluf Tzivon, Aluf Anah, chief Tzivon, and the chief Anah. Verse 30. Aluf Dishan, Aluf Eitzar, Aluf Dishan, Eila, Aluf Yachidel, Aluf Eber Tzeir, chief Dishan, chief Eitzar, chief Dishan. These are the tribal chiefs of the Horites, the chief by chief in the land of Seir. Verse 31. Ve'ela malachim asher molchu b'eretz Tzedek. Being that we were counted above, Yitzchak gave a blessing to Yaakov, that he will be a master over his brothers, and told Esav that he too that he and his descendants would serve Yaakov's descendants. So the Torah now describes how these blessings went into effect, and how it appears that Esav's descendants were independent and a self-governing nation. And therefore he tells us about the future kings that will be coming from Esav. Eila Malachim, these are the kings, Asher Molchu B'eretz Edom, that reigned in Edom, Lifnei Melech Melech Livnei Yisrael. These were the kings before any king reigned over the descendants of the Jewish people. And he explains as follows in Rashi. Verse 31. Ve'ela malachim. Shmoina hayu. There were 8 kings that Esav had. Ukenegden hemid Yaakov, and also Yaakov put up 8 kings. Ubitul malchus Esav bimeim, and therefore took away and got rid of the kingdom of Esav in their times, that the kingdom of Edom was not able to stand up against the kingdom of the Jewish people. Ve'elu hein, who are the 8 of them? Shaul, Ishboishes, David, Shlomer, Rechavam, Aviyah, Asa, Yeshaphat. In the day of Yoram, the son of Yeshaphat, Yom of Pasha Edom, at that time Edom rebelled, Mitachas, Yad Yehuda, and they were able to put up a king. That means already at that time, Edom were under the jurisdiction, and they were able to fight up against them. However, in the time of Shaul, and there was no king in Edom. Verse 32. Bela, and who were the kings in Edom? Bela, the son of Bar V'Shem Irai, and the name of the city was Dinhava. Vayomas Bela, and Bela died. Vayimlich Tachtav, and instead of him became king, who was succeeded by Yovav ben Zerach, the Yovav the son of Zerach. Mibatzra, he came from a place called Batzra. Rashi, what does it mean, Mibatzra? Batzra Me'ari Moavi. Batzra is a Moabite city. Shnemer, as it says, Al Kiryas Val Batzra. Mida Melech Ladim, because Batzra put a king to Edom, Asida Lil Kesimoim, they later on also got punished at the same time. When God will punish the people of Edom as well. Shnemer, as it says, Kizevach Lashem LaBatzra, that God will make a slaughter in the people of Betzra and in the land of Edom, because they joined together with the people of Edom. Verse 34, Vayamas Yovav, and Yovav died, Vayimlech Tachtav, and instead of him became the king, Chusham, Me'eretz HaTeimani, from the land of the Teimanites. Verse 35, Vayamas Chusham, Vayimlech Tachtav, Hadad ben Bedad, and Chusham died, and instead of him became the king, Hadad ben Bedad, Hamakes Midian, who killed out Midian, who defeated Midian, Bestei Moav in the fields of Moab. Veshem Irin, the city that he came from, was called Avit. Verse 35, what does it mean that he was defeated by the people of Midian? Sheba Midian al Moav la Midian came to wage war against the Moabites in war. V'holach melech Lazarus Moav. And then the king of Edom went to help Moab. From here we know that Midian and Moab are not getting along with one another. We made Bilam, but what happens in the time of Bilam, when they made Asu Shalim, they made peace, Lishkash al Yisrael, what happened was, Midian and Moab were always in a fight with one another. When Bilam, then they needed Bilam to be able to go curse the Jews. So they made peace to be able to fight against the Jews. Vayamas Hadad, and Hadad died, Vayimlech Tachtav Simla Masreka, and he was succeeded by Simla from Masreka. Vayamas Simla, and Simla died, Vayimlech Tachtav Shol Recheves Hanar, and succeeded by Shol from the place called Recheves Hanar. Vayamas Shaul, and Shaul died. Vayimlich Tachtav, and was succeeded by Baalchanan ben Achbar, by Baalchanan the son of Achbar. Verse 39, Vayamas Baalchanan ben Achbar, Baalchanan ben Achbar died. Vayimlich Tachtav, and replaced by, and succeeded by the king of Hadad. Vashem Ir, the name of his city was Pa'u. Vashem Ishtain, the name of his wife was Mehetavel. And Mehetavel was the daughter of Matred, the daughter of Bas Mezahav, the daughter of Mezahav. Rashi wants to know, who is this Mezahav? Ma'u Zahav. Why does it say he was the daughter of Zahav of gold? Shayayimer used to say, Ma'u Zahav, what is gold? Ashirayu, it's very wealthy. That gold was nothing worth for him. That even gold wasn't of value because he was so wealthy. Verse 40. These are the names of the chiefs of Esav, according to their families, according to their regions, by the names that they were given of their families. Aluf Timna, the chief of Timna, Aluf Alva, the chief of Alva, Aluf Yisais, and chief of the tribe Yisais. Rashi says, that why were they given these names? They were named by their countries. After Hadad, who was the last king of Edom, and then the Edom kingdom stopped, the dynasty stopped. The Rishonim and Iskar Lamaila that we mentioned, the first 8 above, these are now the names of the families of the children of Esav, as it's described in the book of Chronicles, Hadad, and then who were the generals of the chiefs of Edom, Aluf Timna, and so on. Verse 41, Aluf Alivama, Aluf Eila, Aluf Pinan, the chief of the tribe of Alivama, chief of the tribe of Eila, chief of the tribe of Pinan. 42, Aluf Knaz, Aluf Teman, Aluf Mivtzar, the chief of the tribe of Knaz, Teman, and Mivtzar. Verse 43, Aluf Magdiel, the chief of the tribe of Magdiel, Aluf Edom, Eila, Aluf Yedom, these are the chiefs of the places of Edom, Be'eretz, according to the places where they lived, Be'eretz Achuzasam, according to their settlements. Who? Esav. This is all comes from Esav, that he brought all these people into the world. Avi Edom, he was the father of the Edom kingdom and dynasty. If you look at the first name, Aluf Magdiel, the chief of the tribe Magdiel, Rashi tells us, by the way, do you want to know who this Magdiel is? He is Remi. This is Rome. And that's why we know that the kingdom of Rome and the exile of Rome refers to Esav. This concludes the 7th Torah reading of Vayishlach.